we started to get comments, okay, this your crazy vision that you came to told us 4 years ago. It's happened. Now we know it's happened. We don't yet know are you the winner, but we know it's happened. If we are not bold enough, we don't have business.
Today's organizations can't simply automate or digitize things. They need to reorganize themselves around big ideas. Collaboration between people and intelligent tools, clarity in strategy, and trust in every action. This is our theme today, organizational revolution. It's about how to build enterprises that can adapt, scale responsibly, and thrive in a world defined by digital intelligence. Our first guest, Ilari Abdeen, has been the CEO of Kivra since September 2020, and he has guided its rise as a leading digital postal service platform in Finland. With background in financial industry, Varma and OP banking group, and an MSc in business, Ilari brings a strategic lens to value creation, growth, and trust in digital services. Under his leadership, Kivra is changing how digital post is seen in Finland, expanding from digital mail to broader information delivery and payments, and leaning into national critical digital infrastructure. And doing this all while nurturing an internal culture and trust. Jaakko Wäänänen, he is the founder and CEO of Hellon, Finland's most awarded innovation and service design consultancy. Since launching the agency in 2009, Jaakko has led transformations for clients like ABB, VTT, and Metso, and recently steered Hellon into integrating AI with design and published a report on rethinking leadership for the intelligent age. He regularly speaks on service innovation and human AI collaboration at major forums, including visiting at Davos and talking at the Service Design Conference. We are here to unpack how organizations can reset for intelligent growth. Welcome, Ilari and Jaakko.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juha.
So, Ilari, for someone who's never heard of Kivra, perhaps, how would you explain to them what Kivra does?
I think Kivra's vision is quite simple. We want to change how important information is delivered in the societies we are. Basically, making it totally paperless and shifting how you can, in trusted, secure world, transform information from companies, third-party sector, public sector, for the citizens. And that is for us digital post. But same time, we are in a really interesting position in Finland. We are a startup. We are still on the way scaling this and changing how society looks digital post. In Sweden, where our roots are, we are serving 6.2 million citizens, approximately 80% of all the citizens in the society. And we are part of the national digital infrastructure. So Kivra is in a really interesting position. We are a local giant in Sweden, where basically all Swedes knows us. They digital post in Sweden is already like, okay, it's a must-have service. It's difficult to be in the society. In Finland, if we go and walk on the streets, what is digital post for you? I get something. But if you are able in the national society, shift how we create a system where people can really gather the important information in one service, and build that infrastructure, I think we are changing the way how people are really seeing the whole digital post as a term. And is it a digital post in future? But we recognized word post when we are thinking about important things and how we have been gathering them in previous life or for years. So I think that's in one sentence. We want to change the way people are handling the important information in a daily basis.
Right. So thinking about all those paper envelopes, these official-looking paper envelopes that drop in the middle of the night from your hole in the door. So those basically will be transformed all in to a digital form, right?
Exactly. And then if you look how societies looks like and how the infrastructure look, a lot of things are already digitalized. But are they digitalized in a safe way? How much things we are getting into our email boxes? Just as an example. So in our vision, no, even one paper letters, there shouldn't be need for sending that one. But it's not just it's wrong to send paper letter. We need to create a system and services that people don't even feel that I need to get even one paper letter in future.
And it's quite interesting. These letters are something that you might read. When you open them, you might read them and they might contain information that is important for you, but also creating an archive of these letters that you can search through for, something you got maybe half a year ago, which with papers, honestly, it's a bit more difficult, right?
Yeah, it is. But then putting it in a simple way, like we all have families, we all have important things, and we know, like, okay, where was the important letter which I got 6 months ago? Let's do it a simple way. If you get your important things into your digital mailbox, you can find them. You can find them after 12 years.
Exactly.
In the folder, you got it. So basically, in historical way of looking, I have got paper letters home. Then I take it from the mailbox. And okay, this is about my family. I put into this folder. And after 3 years, I have those folders in my home.
Yeah.
But this can be transformation, that everything is foundable. So same time when you are making it paperless, the whole society, you are building the safe archive for the society.
Yeah. That's actually a beautiful case of like a double disruption. You are both disrupting an industry, but at the same time, it's a societal disruption that follows.
Exactly. Hey, Ilari, you have a background in working with perhaps a bit more traditional corporations in the financial sector. What drew you to take a role as a CEO in Kivra, which is a bit different, but perhaps more, slightly more agile and perhaps smaller in size?
That's an interesting question. I'm thinking myself also every once in a while. But yeah, my background, I was working first 10 years of my career in OP Financial Group, which probably everybody knows in Finland. And then next 4 to 3 years in a pension insurance company called Varma. So pretty traditional, regulated companies that have been working for ages. Same time, I was always a believer of growth. So while I was working in the big corporation, I typically got roles where we need to shift something or build new ways of growth. When first I was asked that, would you be interested in working in a company called Kivra? It's a digital mailbox. Honest answer was that, what is this, like digital mailbox? Is this quite old thing that is things quite digitalized? And my first answer, no, this, I don't think there's a case on this. Then I got a question. Okay, you had 2 child. Can you gather your important things and show them for me in 2 days? That's a mission impossible, at least for me, a personality like me. And then Google this kind of company, Kivra. I think it had 3 million users at Sweden at that point. And why Wallenbergs are one of the main investors. What are the values behind? And then that was a light for me. Okay, this is a game. Either you shift, or either the society where Kivra is, the whole society is looking new way at what is digital post, or either it doesn't happen. So that was what I got love. We have a platform that is, I think, world class currently. We can create a team that is executing this shift, and either it's a win or lose game. So it was a challenge, but same time, I think as a CEO of a startup, you need to really believe in the vision, because otherwise you are not ready to go with the team to over all the obstacles. So I think that was really, really cool.
And since you have joined, Kivra has gained, in Sweden, it has grown from 3 million users to over 6 million users. So how would you say that Kivra has evolved since you joined?
Of course, it has been a lot of changes, and we have a company structure where we have own company in Sweden, and then we have own company in Finland, which I'm running. And you could say that when I started in Sweden, we were still a startup, even though we had 3 million users. And typically in startups, all the processes are not just in super place. So I think what has happened from in the Sweden's perspective, we are true scale up. We are already, there's 200 people working at Kivra. So we are not anymore a startup. So we are quite critical part of the infrastructure in Sweden. Then what we look in Finland, we started from scratch. And what has changed? We are already serving 20,000 companies. We are already serving hundreds of thousands consumers. So we are quite big, but still far away from the vision where we want to serve 3 to 4 million Finns. So I would describe that we have shifted a lot in Finland how digital post is seen when you go to discuss with the companies. There's a regulation coming, which we have been a lot involved, which will shift the whole society. We can come back to that later. But in Finland, we are still a startup. In Sweden, we are really a scale-up, and we are noted already part of the national critical infrastructure. So it's really cool. And I don't know how Jaakko sees. You see more the transformation coming back to like traditional companies that you are serving. So I think it's really interesting to hear as well. How do you see the digital transformation?
Yeah, I think that's a good question to discuss today. I bet, or we know that there are a lot of differences between let's say a product oriented or product led scale up and a mature large enterprise when it comes to transformation and how that should be led. And as you said, if you think about startups or even some scale-ups that might still have some maturity issues when it comes to processes, etc. But there are a lot of benefits when it comes to kind of sources of agility and change. So maybe a question to you, Ilari, that how do you see like the main differences when it comes to change and transformation in general when you compare your old previous career to the present one?
Yeah. I think that's a really relevant question. In my eyes, there's like one big different situation that I see. For example, taking example Varma's journey. I was building a new department which was focused in the SME sector. If you have a company which traditions are like as long the society has been a pension insurance company, so you can't shift everything on one day. You need to make sure that you are serving the society in your basic, what is your role in the society. But same time, you should be able to get the motivation for people that there's a possibility to do things better. But I think you need to also understand that the shift can't go on one day. Then when you come on startup world, when I started, we had 200 euros revenue monthly basis. We had 3 senders, so 3 B2B customers, or 10, I don't remember. We had 12,000 users. We were making losses of 250,000 euros per month. There's not any legacy that you can lay on. So then it comes that, are you clear enough to focus? And I have kind of a mantra that can be then used also in the big corporations, but focus, focus, focus. execution, measure, adjust. So basically you need to go moving. You need to believe into intuition and what is our focus is. Then you can move.
Exactly.
Then you can measure, are these delivering into the focuses we thought they are delivering. And by measuring, we can see if they're not delivering enough, we could adjust. And I think this is something that typically in the big corporates, it's sometimes also difficult because you are so big. Can you keep the focus? And if, in my eyes, if a company has more than 5 focus, it's quite difficult already to follow up. So that's also one main difference, that can you keep the focus? We are 19 people. I think everybody in the company knows what is our focus. Then the question is, are we good enough and fast enough to execute?
Exactly. And this applies to organizations regardless of the size of the organization.
Yeah,
exactly.
If I continue on that, I think, as you also said the word fast, I think when it comes to any company, but especially enterprise level businesses, the most valuable asset to stay competitive is actually speed. And whether you can maintain speed when it comes to building new revenue streams, when it comes to change and transformation. So have you identified, like, comparing the kind of enterprise context to a scale-up startup context, what are the kind of key things that sometimes prohibit an enterprise to change or grow at speed?
No, at least one thing is that typically when enterprises are doing bold moves, you could say, they're sacrificing something that they have already. Not always, but typically. Typically, enterprises are not doing an all-new joint venture or spin-off. Typically, it's something around the traditional things they're doing. And if you're really bold and changing a lot on the things your revenues are already coming, you're also sacrificing. And that's a balancing act. You're changing the way you are serving your clients, or you're building your revenue streams, or how your business model is working. Are you bold enough? Or if you're bold enough, are you sacrificing too much?
And where to draw the line.
Exactly. And then coming back to startup and at least the learning. If we are not bold enough, we don't have business.
It's winner take all.
So like the fire is really under your ass. So how to talk? So you need to deliver. And sometimes, at least for us, we are also trying to disrupt one of the most traditional industries that we have in the society. And I'm sometimes playing with words that, okay, postal companies have an oil tanker that has been on the sea for 200 years or even 300 years. So while they are shifting into digital, they need to throw quite much out of the old.
Yeah.
And a digital post company, for example, which is only focusing in digital post. I think we have a small motorboat, which is still a lot of holes in it, but we can be faster than the oil tanker. Then the question is, are we fast enough when we are building the disruption? Sometimes it's also that we are building the disruption, but someone else is eating the candies after that. So then it's typical for startups. Are they good enough to disrupt, but then good enough to scale fast?
Exactly.
Because then speed is the key.
Yes.
So, Ilari, regarding this change, can you identify some turning points or some moments where you really noticed that things are starting to shift in your favor?
Yeah, I think one way of looking at how customers are seeing. So we are serving basically all industries that are serving consumers. So it's really interesting same way. So someday I can be in the ticket industry telling how digital post helps industries to build better processes on even tickets. Another day I'm with the bank. Third day I'm with the government. So but one way of putting it that probably 1.5 years, 1 year ago, we started to get comments, okay, this your crazy vision that you came to told us 4 years ago is happening. Now we know it's happening. We don't yet know are you the winner, but we know it's happening. And then I think another really like societal level shift is that Finland have decided that next year there's a new regulation coming that basically over 4 million Finns, they need to use, it will be in the law, you need to use digital mailbox. And private mailboxes are implemented into that national infrastructure. So that's also quite big a showcase for us. Okay, if 4 million Finns need to choose which mailbox they're using, this is happening.
Exactly. And again, it's not just an organizational transformation, but a transformation in the society,
exactly,
in the environment that we are operating
exactly.
in. Yeah.
And the CEO level, like if we think our team, can you be more motivated with the team when you know basically every one of our potential customer in a consumer eyes needs to choose which mailbox they're using. It's a huge opportunity.
Yeah,
a company like us. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also a great example when it comes to the maturity of societal digitalization in Finland, but also within the Nordics. That is a great concrete example on kind of how the Nordics are advancing when, for example, compared to our clients in UK.
yeah,
There's a lot to be done when it comes to delivering mail or opening bank accounts or managing with the energy companies, etc.
I just was meeting yesterday with a person living in UK, running and being one of running in one payment company, and like he said, like, shit, if this kind of platform would work in UK. He said like, I need to sign into my utility company, then I need to sign into my bank company, then I need to sign into my waste company, and anything I need to find, I need to sign into somewhere. And
Exactly.
then he said like, in Sweden, I need to sign into one platform and find these things. And it was a great example how he was describing how these things works in UK.
Yeah,
exactly. So the value is quite clear from the consumer's perspective.
Yeah, exactly. But then when we are doing studies, consumers don't, or it's difficult to them to even think that this kind of service can be. So for learning, as I'm starting, when you are disrupting something, people don't understand that the thing that we are disrupting can change part of their everyday life. But when it has happened, in Sweden, for example, if you walk in the streets and ask, like, do you know Kivra? Yeah, I can't live without it. It's like one of the mandatory services I need to use.
So maybe the same metaphor of letting something go applies also to the people who are using the service.
Exactly.
What would you say that those are those things that users are letting go when they are starting to use Kivra?
Yeah, I think if you look like on a user's perspective, you don't need to. You can get rid of like many ways of handling your and archiving your important things, and the service is doing it for you. Then same time, it's always good when startups lives a lot on visions as well. And a digital post is a great example that, okay, if you download a digital post today, the add value you get is not maybe the biggest yet, but coming into the journey, when it really works in the society, then the add value is huge. And I think this is also a typical startup question, that what is your maturity level in the society? So just an example, in Sweden, our users, the average amount of important information, so digital mails on a monthly basis, is 10 per month. So 6 million users, 10 important information monthly. So it's a weekly basis service for 6 million users.
Yeah.
In Finland, it's currently 1. And that is a good example when you go into data as well, that what is the level of add value today? What is the level of add value when this industry is maturing?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's how innovation gets done. That of course you need foresight. You need to kind of understand how customers behave now and kind of what are the weak signals of tomorrow. But many times you cannot ask like from the customer what do they need tomorrow. As Henry Ford said, that if he had asked the customers like what they would need, they would have said they need faster horses. So you really need strong argumented visions and then really lean on those.
To also communicate them outwards.
Yeah. Exactly. And we are super traditional chicken and egg business. So we are SaaS business. We need the users who can receive the information. But if we get users without having the companies that want to utilize our product, they won't get any information. So we are super traditional chicken and egg.
Yeah.
You need to get the product fit in the market that companies want to use you. And then you need to gather users that feels that your user experience is the best in market and it's delivering value. So basically we don't have if you could say that we don't have own product we are selling. We are selling a brand and platform where the product is the companies joining us. Of course, then we have add value features.
Yeah.
But without having those companies sending the information, we don't really have a good product.
Hey, we have been now exploring Kivra and what Kivra does. Let's hope the listeners have a picture in their head of this kind of new type of service. But let's go exploring the transformation in a bit deeper. So let's talk about how Kivra is scaling responsibly. So expanding the platform. You can, Ilari, explain that a bit. And then sticking to sustainability as a core compass in your scaling, and also systematically building trust in your service among all the complexities of building a tech platform. So the first question. So after focusing on digital mail, what drew you to expand Kivra's scope into new types of features?
Yeah, when we look Kivra's like product development, values is impacting quite a lot. So this has been a little bit maybe background as well, but for example, our shareholder agreement, I don't know if I should say that publicly in the podcast, but I'm saying it's stating that long-term profitable business and good for the society is more important than short-term profits. And a startup backed with investors, I'm sure this is not a typical way. And what we mean is that we have quite big values behind it. So we need to appreciate the consumer's data. So it's not for sell. We don't sell the data. So we don't do the business by just getting commercials from third parties. Consumers need to trust. So trust. Then, of course, environment. So our ambition is that there is no need to send even one paper letter. But that's not just about it. Then same time, we need to minimize the emissions coming from one digital letter. And we are following it daily basis and monthly basis and yearly basis. And we report the whole value chain. And then it comes into the combination security, important information, and sustainability. And then that needs to be on the up when we are building our product.
It's like a holy trinity.
yeah. But it's basically the backbone how our business model works. And then when you start from there, then that impacts a lot on our product roadmap. For example, in the beginning of Kivra journey, basically we were bringing PDFs into digital mode. If you think, paper into digital. So it was a white paper where you can read your paper letters in digital mode. So bringing PDFs into digital form. Is that the long-term future? So driving force is, okay, what is important information consumer needs? Okay, invoices is quite important information that consumers are getting. Then you need to be a world-class payment platform. Example. Okay, then we need to provide a world-class payment service that they want to handle the invoices. Another example. In Sweden, COVID certifications. Kivra built a feature that the whole society could handle their COVID certifications in Kivra. One core feature was that they are in offline mode. Then coming to booking appointments. In Sweden, it's a big thing that you can get your healthcare booking appointments into Kivra. You are not just getting the PDFs. In the metadata, we have the information when the booking is, where it is. So then we can bring notification reminders for the whole society. Hey, after 2 days, you need to be in the healthcare. 2 hours before, you need to be in the healthcare. You can put it into your calendar. Small thing, but it's tens of millions the cost for public healthcare that people are not coming to the appointments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm trying to explain that keeping the core values behind and then building small product upgradation all the time that helps, but this, you could say also that this needs to be your everyday assistant.
Yeah.
You get your important information, but it helps you to handle them better.
Yeah, that's a kind of beautiful story. The way we actually call that kind of development and progress at Hellon is basically a systemic innovation approach. That from Kivra perspective, it might feel that okay, it's adding features around the product, but from the customer point of view, from the society point of view, you are actually creating features that as you explained, create systemic change. It's not only storing the digital information, but it's actually making it more times on time to the doctor's appointment at a societal scale.
Exactly. And to put it simply, when the starting point was digitizing the mail that you get, the next logical step is to digitizing the contents of this mail and turning it into a service. We are not taking post at a face value, just digitizing that, but we are actually looking at the services behind and the systems behind those mails and reaching into those.
Exactly. So I think it's a small example. 3 years ago, we entered in a partnership with Ticketti in Finland, which is delivering 20 to 30% all event tickets. The problem wasn't that it's too expensive to send event tickets. The problem is that they're sent into email. People don't find them. The events are changed, the dates are changed, and then when they are entering the event, that's one of the critical moments for the events when 20 to 30 to 40,000 people are entering. And the network is not, for example, working and they don't find the tickets. That's a hassle.
Yeah.
We all can imagine we are going to Ruisrock and we are waiting 30 minutes extra because it's not happy experience. So we shifted that all the tickets can be delivered into digital mailbox. They are found in the Ticketti folder, but they are also offline. Small thing, but helps the whole value chain. And for us, a superior user experience which drives users. So all parties are winning. So small example. Do an event ticket offline mode that people find them better. But it scales.
Exactly.
Hey, could you actually explain a bit on how that happens within your product development and innovation team? That like, how do you? Because that is exactly what so many companies today want. They really want to influence value chains and systems in a new way, in a new profitable way. But many times the kind of the beginning of the development, kind of envisioning like where we could influence next and how would we go about it, that's the hard part. So how does that happen at Kivra?
And when continuing this, of course, we have done wrong decisions as well. If a company is saying that all the decision they made is always 100% right, they're lying. You need to make mistakes to learn and win. But how it works for us is, of course, like...
Can you share a few mistakes for the listeners?
Yeah, no, I think like I said, in my thinking, if you try to be 100% ready before doing something, you will never start doing something. So that's what I mean is measure and adjust, or stop doing that and change doing. So not saying just one example, but I'm saying for the whole team. Now we jump from topic and topic, but it doesn't matter. So I'm saying for the team that if you are driving and you drive out of the street, it's always good thing. The thing that you need to learn, that you are not driving away from the highway exactly from the same place you drove 2 days ago. But if you are driving a bit further and driving again out, you are learning. And that's my way of saying that if you are knowing what direction we should go, let's go.
Yeah. Keep the direction, learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. But on Jaakko's question, we are typically in Finland. Of course, there's this setup that Sweden is much ahead and we get a lot of development from there. And then Finland is a startup. But in a Finnish perspective, everything they are doing in Sweden is not most probably necessary for us at this point. So one simple way we are doing it in the team, okay, is this new thing we are developing driving the values we should? First question, yes. Second question, is it driving value for our short-term focuses? If no, is it driving value when we are big, when we are serving 4 million? If no, then let's throw it away. If it's driving value when we are big, but it's not driving value yet, we shouldn't prioritize. If it's driving value for the focuses we should get done now, we should immediately do it.
Exactly.
And another thing is that typically our CTO is a really good person saying that, hey, we can evaluate what this needs for us. We can start to sell. We can make presentation that we have this feature, but we won't develop before there's a customer buying. That's also one way of, so then you need to prove in the market that the value chain or the customers are ready to scale it, then we can do it.
Yeah.
But that's putting in a simple way. 3 steps. Is it driving our values? Is it driving long-term success, short-term success? And then deciding.
Exactly. And value is in the core of that decision.
And the best scenarios are that they don't even come to my table. The team really knows what to decide.
Yeah. Hey, let's take a step back from the features to transforming in the organizations, because from what I listened to you, Ilari, it seems like you're kind of evolving constantly and transforming constantly. But this is a question for Jaakko. You've worked with dozens of organizations undergoing transformation. From your view, what tends to separate those who succeed from those who fail? What are the different kind of elements they need to take care of in a transformation?
Well, to put it very simply, I would say human centricity, and meaning both people as the customers and people within the organizations. So let's say enterprise level transformations, if the change starts to happen inside out, kind of without deeply understanding your customer base and really kind of validating kind of your selection of directions through your customers, that's the first biggest mistake you can actually make. But then kind of really looking also inside out, that how do we engage and motivate and also argue the change ahead to our own teams. How do we start shaping the mindsets that are needed for the future? And I would say that's always a thing that is somehow underrated. That people tend to, and leadership tends to think that, yeah, let's think out how do we do this and this launch, and then we've notified people, and then things start to change. But it's much more complex. You have kind of you have the legacy, the history. Okay, this is how we've done things always before. Then you have the future. That okay, what does this mean from the organization change perspective? Do we have jobs, or do I need to reskill, upskill myself? And what happens to my personal identity as a member of the team? And when you multiply these questions with an organization size of 10,000 or 100,000 people, that's where the challenge actually lies. So I would definitely say that kind of human centricity both ways is at least in my experience with 15 years has been the key.
Yeah. It's super interesting you're saying, like, my biggest learning curve as a leader is that if you lose the people, you lose your business. And then it's coming back to like the clarity of communication. And for example, first time as a CEO now being, one thing we are discussing in the leadership team, if someone in our 19-person team doesn't know what he or she is delivering for the vision or the metrics, we have failed.
Yeah.
Everybody should know what are the focuses, what are the metrics, and how they're delivering. Because I think that's the only way to keep the high motivation.
Yeah.
And if they believe in the same vision and there's psychological safety that they can't even challenge any one of the company, we are learning as a company every day more and more. But I truly believe when we need the extra mile, if the motivation is they are running the extra mile for the company. But same time, we have the responsibility of being transparency, where the company is going, what should we achieve. And in a startup, I think one learning is that those big financial institutions are quite safe working places. Now, looking backwards of my life, we need to be transparent as in Kivra as well, that okay, now we have funding for the next 6 months. What do we need to achieve, where we need to go, that we have the funding.
Exactly.
And when I started, I think that was a scary part as a CEO. Like, okay, how open we can be, that are people then leaving. I have never seen such an engaged team that we have currently. And like saying that 6 months we need to achieve it, they're just getting more motivation. That okay, we need to achieve those things together.
Exactly.
So like transparency on communication is at least something that I will take to my backpack from this journey.
Exactly. Hey, let's move to our final segment, and this is about future. So in terms of the intelligent age, as we talk about it in Hellon, talking not just about technology, but how will AI transform the way we do work in the future? What kind of leadership structures, strategic thinking is required in this time, and how do you move beyond just experimenting with AI to real organizational-wide transformation? And let's start with a really basic question. This is a really complex topic. For both of you, what has been most valuable personal learning with AI? Do you have some experiences or some practices with AI that you have taken into your own work life? Or it can be also personal life.
Personally, I think there's a lot to do on my personal level of competence. But I would say the biggest thing for me is that don't be afraid to try and do things with AI. And then it comes back to my thinking is that AI will not be in my thinking. I think that someone will come, a head of AI will come into Kivra and tell how things are done. I think it should be implemented into the substance of everyone's leadership and everyone in the company. And that's done only if we are brave enough as a leaders and as a people in the company to try and start to learn. So at least biggest learning for me in Kivra is that we have been able to help our people in the organization, that everyone has access to all the AI tools are useful for us and they can learn also themselves.
Yeah.
Have we done everything we could have been done? I would honestly say no. But at least we are in a curve where I think we have taken the step that everyone in the company is using it, is brave enough to try and learn.
Yeah.
And I think that's a learning curve for me, that if you just wait and AI will change everything, you won't never take the step of getting the knowledge of AI and how I can learn myself and how to utilize it. That has been the biggest learning curve for me.
Yeah.
Super simple thing, but test and try and start to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah. For me, I think the biggest learning by far has been kind of a very, simple question that kind of, what does it take and how long does it take for a human to really understand the meaning of AI augmented working or processes or tasks. So kind of really understanding when the roles between a human and AI shift, that how fundamental that is and how big of a mindset change it requires. And the story for this goes back to early 2017, when we started to create the first AI augmented design processes at Hellon. So back then, everyone knows there were no ChatGPT, but it was actually very tailor-made algorithms that we started to create to our design and consulting process, to those places where we saw that, okay, this could be done a lot faster, a lot better, a lot more in a quantified way, etc. And soon already during 2017 we got the first two tools out, and we started to use them. But the time it took for us as at that time an agency still below 50 people, the time it took for really everyone to realize that this is going to fundamentally change how we work, it took like 2 years. And it took 2 years in an agency full of like very kind of optimistic, outgoing, innovator kind of culture and super talented people. So after kind of realizing that, and when we kind of got the first tastes of Gen AI, I immediately understood that, okay, let's take an enterprise of 50,000 people globally. It's not gonna take 2 years. It's gonna be a whirlwind of 5 to 10 years until there is a new mindset, new workflows invented, and that's one of the reasons I think the following plus 5 years will be super interesting because of the magnitude of change ahead.
Yeah, and our CTOs is putting it quite nicely quite often, that AI shouldn't change what is Kivra's vision or what is Kivra's strategy, but we should be super fast of thinking how we can be better on executing these things and be better as a company by utilizing AI to do these things.
Yeah.
And when you put that mindset, you should then involve the AI thinking in each processes or each target. And like as you're saying, it doesn't come and fix everything for us. But if we get that implemented on an enterprise level, how we are doing things better or faster, and how it can even make our product much better and bigger, then we start to be in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And how fast these transformations can be taken, that's of course a balancing act. But companies should move and move and move.
Yes.
I like this word, supercharging the organization. It's not really like changing the mission or anything, but it's really adding to the core qualities you mentioned, like speed and agility and the vision. It's just kind of like making those even stronger.
Yeah. And one thing on a personal level, like if you get people to understand that, hey, if I utilize AI as a part of my everyday work, my substance will be better.
Yeah.
And organizational level, I have been saying for years that if we as a Kivra can make our people's CV's value higher than it was before or when they joined Kivra, we have succeeded.
Yeah.
Because then they are motivated to help us because we are helping them to develop, but they can choose where they want to work in future. And I think that's like success.
Yeah. Exactly.
And how to build that, how to get that, how do we could be better of helping them to learn more of AI? It's a good question for leaders.
Yeah.
How we can help our people to be better with AI, because then it pushes us. We need to be better at it as well.
Yeah.
This brings to me to the next question. Jaakko, you've been working with our report on the intelligent age and working with organizations who are, I think most of the organizations are still quite much in the beginning of starting to transform towards utilizing AI in this way. What do you see as this organizational mindset shift that is required to really treat AI more than just a tool, but really as a capability of the organization?
Yeah, well, first to maybe address where we are now, or where the kind of large companies are at the moment. So you could say that at the very beginning of this transformation, and kind of we call it the AI impact gap, that basically 75% of CEOs of large companies globally say that AI is in their top 3 strategic priorities in 2025. But the same CEOs, 1% of them are saying that their maturity level is high enough to really start executing on that objective. So there's a huge gap between the strategic priority and let's say the kind of what they want, but then the reality on what the readiness is. And that's exactly like what we've also been kind of exploring, and when creating the report on intelligent age, we really wanted to kind of work on a more holistic framework that what does this mean in the context of large organizations, because the reality is that AI and technology is not anymore the problem or the bottleneck. Actually, the development of AI as a technology is now much faster than any enterprise can even think. The real challenge is that how do the people and organizations as systems change and keep up with this pace, because the kind of with this level of technological development, we as people, we start to think that yeah, of course the people have also become wiser, but actually we've been quite much the same for the last couple of thousands of years. and that hasn't changed. So it's really kind of, I think that the mindset towards the change starts from the reality check that where we are, we have technology and people create systems, and that change is actually.
Question for Jaakko, like I know you're serving clients in Finland, but you're serving also clients in UK. So do you see a difference that how mature Finnish companies, how brave they are, and then in global wise, and then like, at least for me, looking Kivra, but looking corporates I have been working, how do like big companies sees the way they will transform this and get people involved? Are they looking that the leaders are learning the thing that they can, or do they really need? Is there new C-level people needed for these kind of companies that can transform? So how do you see this topic?
Yeah, well, three answers to you. So the first is that maybe kind of regarding the kind of ownership, who should own this change, and when I was in Davos this spring, there was the president of Aramco talking about AI and how they go about transforming the largest enterprise in the world. So he said that first and foremost, this digital transformation is the first transformation that should be led by business and probably owned by the CEO. And of course, done with IT, but it's by nature different, because now with AI, we really kind of want to address business challenges. And he said that their process on scaling up AI competencies and business impact really start from the business cases. So they identified 450 use cases with a large potential on creating business impact around the whole enterprise. And then they created a team of 6,000 AI substance specialists to start going through those 450 use cases.
Really interesting.
Yeah, so that's kind of a different way on going about it.
But that's good, nicely said. That like my personal belief as well. If this is not a company-wide thing, that the CEO is motivated and involved, it's difficult to come from a matrix that's saying that the chief operating officer just saying that now we are putting this. It's difficult to say that it would happen.
Yeah.
So easy to believe that.
And the second question was regarding the maturity differences between, for example, UK and Finland. I would say when we think about the enterprise context that yes, Finland and the Nordics are in this change also a couple of years ahead, and maybe coming back to the society and the scale of Finland, I would say that also in this topic, information moves faster. So you can start building kind of ecosystems of companies and kind of create knowledge and best practice maybe on a faster scale than, for example, how it can happen in London. And that's something that has happened in the previous digital transformations also, and I think that's something that all the Nordic countries should be super proud of.
Let's hope Finnish companies are brave enough to commercialize their ability of being fast. Because that's typically one part that Finns are not traditionally been so good. So we are good adapting new technology as well, but building the commercial stage.
And that's
typically the other countries has been better, even though they have they haven't adapted so fast into the new tech. Let's hope we are really good in that this time.
But that's
a huge topic in itself.
Yes, and that's maybe the third answering the third question that okay, how do we scale up this competence in organizations and kind of. We've been working on this framework called 3P to really kind of trying to make it simple on what is needed to drive AI at scale in organizations. So you actually have 3Ps, which is people, purpose, and protection. So people is basically three things. You need to really identify and ramp up the right competence. You need to create cross-silo collaborating teams. And then you really need to start managing the change and the cultural mindset change with much more effort than in any other previous changes. Because we all know, for example, that the big elephant in the room is that will AI take our jobs or will we actually transform into something new that we can actually deliver more value? So that's kind of the people part. Then you have the purpose part that also has three elements in it. First is the kind of strategical clarity, that how does AI feed into our business goals and our strategic goals in short and long term. And then the second is that how do we start scaling up, and that's the case what I thought about the Aramco example, that with business cases first you need to follow the return on investments, and then you start having those wins needed to really change the course of the ship. And then the third is leadership, and we also discussed that who should be owning this, but the whole C-suite should be very much up to date about AI and taking clear ownership and sponsorship to proactively kind of steer the ship and not kind of chasing the curve. And the third, really last but not least, is protection. And we know there's a lot of ethical things we need to take into account. There's a lot of security issues, and those together build the trust needed for the business to thrive, but also to convince the consumers and create value. And the third part of protection is actually then your infrastructure, data platform.
People, purpose
protection.
and protection. So I think that's a nice way to wrap up our discussion today. Thank you so much, Ilari and Jaakko, for joining me in this discussion. And thanks for everybody also listening. We hope it sparks new ways of thinking about the future and the intelligent age in your organizations.
Thank you.
Thank you.